All right, what's going on, everyone? So, the latest news woke up this morning. The first thing I did was turn on CNBC. Obviously, they started ranting about recession, depression, something was going on in terms of the world's economy. But the very first thing they were talking about was the real estate market. Now, if you guys remember something, it wasn't that long ago, like not even a month ago, they were talking about the stock market. They were talking about inflation. They were talking about interest rates. But now the conversation has shifted 100% to real estate, and it's absolutely amazing how we're seeing that the topic of the day pretty much shifts to whatever everybody is interested in, whatever everybody is considering to be a topic of high interest, right? So I want you to consider something. Is a recession a good thing or a bad thing? And the reason why I say that is because when they paint the picture there, it's like the housing market's in a recession. Well, there's a couple things that really kind of makes me wonder why the housing market would be in a recession, and why is the spin on it really kind of coming across like it's a bad thing, right? So the housing market's in a recession, that's the bad thing. But if you consider something real quick, we have more inventory, we have more days on market, we have sellers with a ton of equity inside of their property, and then we still have a plethora of buyers out there who are looking to still buy. On top of that, let's look historically. Interest rates aren't any higher than what they've ever been in history. So, now with that said, when has interest rates ever been married to a 30-year mortgage? And what I mean by that is people have been refinancing interest rates on home loans for as long as I can remember. There's never been a property that I've owned that I haven't had the opportunity to refinance into a lower interest rate, whether it be a point, a half a point, a third of a point, whatever the case may be, in order to help save myself some extra money, not paying more interest and being able to knock down that principal balance. And so right now, I'm going to kind of take you through an example of what was going on today. I went to go look at about 10 properties, average anywhere between 700,000 all the way up to about 1.1 million. Once I go in there and I start looking at these homes for clients, I start looking at some additional information because obviously I want to make sure that I can negotiate my clients the best possible deal. Well, wouldn't you know, probably about 7 out of the 10 properties, which would be right around about 70% of the homes that were listed currently for sale, 1, were purchased by the owner within the last 2 years. 2, were purchased at a price that was probably about maybe 25 to 30% less than what they're trying to sell it for now. And what that pretty much means is 2019 they bought the home maybe 350, $400,000. Now, in today's market, they're selling the home for somewhere around, I don't know, 700, $750,000. That's a huge, huge markup. And just so I could put this in perspective of what that huge markup actually should look like, imagine you bought a home in 2019, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,800 square foot home. Let's say that that home ran you about maybe 275,000. Tell you what, let's just make the number even, $300,000. The average appreciation of a home between 2019 and 2022, we're in August, let's say that the real appreciating value would be somewhere around 6%. That means that that home that you bought for $300,000 in 2019, really over 3 years, should have appreciated to somewhere around maybe $332,000. Now, listen, historically, real estate has always outperformed everything. And we're talking about over the last 5, 6, 7 decades since they've been tracking things. It's outperformed the S&P, the Dow, any other investment tool that you can think of out there, including 401ks. However, in the last year, year and a half, 2 years, we've literally seen property appreciations upwards of 18 to 22%. Outrageous. Now, here's kind of where things are starting to become an issue. The property values are appreciated absolutely too high. So you have somebody who bought the property These are just hypothetical numbers. Bought the property in 2019 for 300,000. Now they're selling for $700,000. You kind of get it. That's the problem right there. However, when they're saying there's a recession because the properties aren't moving, or they're saying that there's a recession in the housing market because the properties aren't moving, it's not necessarily because they can't be sold. It's just because most buyers out there think it's unattainable or unachievable. And what I mean by that is buyers look at interest rates and then they look at the price of the home, and then obviously they're discouraged by that. But let me just point something out to you. A lot of sellers are having what's called FOMO. Yeah, funny little acronym. It's called fear of missing out. Most sellers think that they've missed their opportunity. So even though they have a super high markup, that markup is really just going off what their most recent home sale was, which was within the last 6 months. What most sellers are thinking is, if I put my home on the market and I base it off of what the most recent home sale was, then I should be able to get that. No. What the buyer needs to look at is the seller is absolutely worried that they missed their opportunity and they would love to get their home sold. And since we know that normal appreciation is somewhere around 6%, what's to say they wouldn't be happy with taking a 10% increase, right? They either want to sell or they don't. But as a seller, you're trying to get as much money for your home as possible. As a buyer, you have to know what those pressure points are. So when people say recession and bad housing market, I'm sitting here saying, I think it's opportunity. With that said, as a buyer, my personal opinion is I'd be out there negotiating for a lowest price or concessions to help you with closing costs or down payment or whatever else you need help with financially, as well as repairs, upgrades, whatever amenities you need, because the seller has a lot in terms of to lose by not getting the home sold. They also have a lot to gain by getting the home sold, even if it means helping the buyer out, get some of their costs and their situations paid for. But another thing that I think is even better in this market is buyers actually have the opportunity to negotiate the best price on the best home in the best neighborhood and get almost everything they want with it, given the fact that if you don't buy that home, there's three or four other ones that you could pick from. We're not in that same situation we were at the beginning of the year where there were lines of people out putting up their firstborn to get the home of their dream under contract. I think if the buyer in today's market is not trying to find the home that they can fall in love with, they're trying to find the best deal in the best neighborhood. I think it's absolutely a runaway situation right now for a lot of home buyers out there. So, I'll let the question be left up to you. Is this a recession or is this an opportunity? Quite frankly, I think it's a great opportunity. And, we were screaming at a lot of sellers, hey, it's a good opportunity to sell your home. And again, that word FOMO is coming up because I think a lot of sellers believe that they may have missed their opportunity. And I don't think they did. I just think they're not going to get as much as they would had they had sold maybe January, February, March, even all the way up to May. But there's still a great opportunity for them. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please leave a like and follow us. Let me know what your comments are. Talk to you soon.